Great rising. It is almost 6 a.m. It's 5:50 a.m. But this is Love, also known as the Self-Love Guru, and I am your confidence coach. And today we're going to be discussing friendship. I really wanted to do this video because there's so much I learned about being a friend. I will never sit here and pretend like I'm perfect or I've always, had it all figured out when it came to how to be a friend. And I know I haven't because I had never been taught how to do that. But I also saw that I put a few reels up yesterday about self confidence and how um, your lack of self confidence can impact your friendships because I am a confidence coach, right? And people really seem to like those videos. I got a ton of views on those reels. And so I wanted to do a video on it just go in a little bit more detail about friendship. So first of all, let me give you a history of my friendships. I grew up not really trusting anyone outside of family. We weren't around anyone outside of family. Um, Anytime we took trips, it was a family trip. Anytime my mom had a friend, either the friend would talk about her and she may not cut them off, but just keep them at a distance, or she would say things like, yeah, you got to be careful about people. And I feel like it was a lot of things projected in terms of mistrust of people outside of the family unit. So growing up, I had two sisters. Um, Beautiful Buttons came later, my little makeup artist. But I had sisters, and so that was family to me. And it wasn't that I did not have friends, it's just I would only let them get but so close to me. Like I didn't tell friends intimate details about my life. I wasn't trying to hang out with them much, like outside of whatever venue I knew them from. So, for instance, if I know you from school, we hung out at school, and that's it. Um, I didn't start hanging out with people outside of school really until I got in high school. I mean, like consistently. Um, and because I feel like because I already had a certain mindset about friendships in middle school, I never really saw healthy friendships. Like people are super mean in elementary and middle school, and like the only friends I would say that I had were like guys that maybe liked me and wanted to befriend me or wanted to like protect me against, a mean girl or whatever, right? So I'd never experienced it. And I realized that it was a problem when I had conflict with a friend and I would just cut them off because I'm like, That's just a friend, we're not family. Like I don't need you." And I didn't have any skills for resolving conflict anyway, but with family, we had always been taught that like families first and things happen within a family, but we get over it. We move forward as long as it's not nothing major, but we move forward and we ask God to help us have forgiveness in our heart. And, but I thank God I come from a good family where that model was like appropriate, where we learned forgiveness and things of that nature. But yeah, forgiveness for other people, I didn't have it. Wanting to hang out with other people didn't exist. Seeing the benefit of having friends outside of family, didn't see it, didn't care. And so I came a long way, and I know like I had always wanted meaningful friends, but I felt like they didn't exist. But then I realized that wasn't realistic when I was looking at other people and their friendships. Like they have friends for years and they say, "Oh, yeah, well, me and my friend, we've been through a lot, but that's my friend." Even my nana used to have like really long-term friends. She has friends to this day that I still talk to. Like I have an aunt, we call her Aunt Fuzzy. And so that's not biologically my aunt, but it was one of my nana's best friends. And my nana has since been home to be with the Lord. And I remember calling her after my first trimester, and I was telling her about my pregnancy. And y'all, when I tell you, I was so nervous about it already because I am a first time mother. And she just made me feel so at ease because she was so excited for me. Like, literally, she's about to make me cry. But we were both crying on the phone because she's crying and she's excited. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. I want to know everything." And she's calling and she's like, "I want to be a part of everything. Like, keep me in the loop." And she said, "I'm so happy for you." And I actually broke the news of my fiance and my pregnancy in the same day. So she was overwhelmed, but she was so happy. And that felt so good. Like, y'all have no idea. Because I'm like, everyone else is like, "Well, how do you feel about it?" And she didn't even wait. She was just like, "This is great news." And I'm like, "Okay, good. This is great news." So that it did something for me. And I know, my Nana had some really, really good people around her. I miss her. All right, but we'll move forward because my emotions are already. So if I start crying now, I'm going to be crying for the whole video. Anywho, listen, friendship is important. So we'll go ahead and jump right into these tips. Um, don't stop talking to your friends when you get in a relationship. That's my first piece of advice. I used to do this every time, every single time. Like, it's like I just forgot about my friends. I was all about my man. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't I just wasn't interested. I would talk to my friends on the phone maybe occasionally, but I didn't really initiate contact with them. And they would always be like, "Every time you get a man, you don't be around and da 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 da." And your man is gonna be like, "So they just mad because they single and da 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 da." But when I looked at it, he's not cutting his friends off. When he wants to leave the house and go out with his boys and do what he does that and he comes back home. So I had to learn how to go out with my friends, have fun, and then come back home to my man because that is a normal thing to do. Stop cutting your friends off. And then at the end of the relationship, you like, "Hey girl, what you doing?" And they know something going on with y'all because you don't ever call them. That's a problem. That's all right. If your friends call you out on that, just take heed. Be a better friend, okay? I used to be really bad for that, and thank God my friends stuck it out with me because they could have cut me off. I have lost some male friends from that. I have like, "Oh, every time you get a boyfriend, you cut me off." And I'll be like, "Boy, because I have a boyfriend. What are you talking about?" Like, but it's not fair, and it doesn't feel good. I've been cut off like that by somebody, and this is actually when I was in grad school. But I had a friend who every time he gets a girlfriend, he just disappears. And I had never been on the receiving end of that. I'm like, how dare you? Like Kerr. Anywho, number two, don't be loyal to foolishness. If you know that y'all ain't friends no more, or you know that you bonded over something that is no longer you, like let's say, okay, I had friends where we used to bond over drama, talking about people, laughing at people. This is, again, why I don't do certain things anymore and why I always advise against it, right? Um, I just didn't want to be that person anymore. And so it got to a point where I'm on the phone with her and we have nothing to talk about because she wants to talk about people. I'm redirecting the conversation. I even remember one time I told a friend, like, I don't really want to talk about other people. Like, I don't care what she did. Straight like that. I don't care. I don't really care what she did. I don't care about her relationship. I'm worried about what I did in my relationship. Um, I'm worried about what you did. And do you have a relationship? Like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about me and let's talk about what you got going on. I don't want to talk about everybody else and what they doing. Waste of time. That is a learned behavior and it's a waste of time. Gossip is a waste of time. So don't be loyal to BS. Genuinely look at your friendships and be like, do we have anything in common? Because if not, maybe y'all should not be friends. Seriously. Number three, women need friends, bro. Like when I say I love my friends so much, so my two closest friends do not have any children. And so, hold on, let me get some water. I'm sorry, my mouth is like getting dry. So my two closest friends don't have children, and I was telling them like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling very overwhelmed about this pregnancy. I'm scared. My hormones are all over the place. I don't know what to do. I can't find a doula. I'm stressed out. I'm trying to save money for this baby. I have my my prior expenses, things that I was already paying for on oh, that would be a good video. I'll read that in just a second, like out loud. But things that I was already paying for, and I'm like freaking out. And my friends are like, um, it may be good if you talk to like a therapist or if you find a support group with other pregnant women or mothers so that you can have additional support. Like, we're here for you, of course. You can call me, of course. But if you need additional support specifically related to pregnancy, this is a resource that you can use. And so I actually knew of a place because it's a place where I got like my first pregnancy test and talked to them about like places that I could go for prenatal care. And they actually made my first referral for prenatal care. And so I don't know, like that was like the best advice. Like I knew a place that I could go. I had been thinking about going to a place to support myself. And I guess I was scared to do it. I'm not sure. But with that motivation and inspiration from my friends, I made the call. I got into a pregnancy 101 class, and then they give you some nice goodies for the baby after the class is over. And then they have another class like on parenting, but that's like after the baby's born, which is super cool. And then because all of us are pregnant and we're considered like vulnerable when it comes to our immune systems, everything's virtual. And my fiance can be a part of the class. So I was elated. And so when I went back and told my friends about it, they were like, oh, we're so happy for you. I'm really glad that you found this support. And it was just amazing all around. That is what friends do. They may not be able to be your resource for everything, like directly, but they can point you in the right direction at times. Um, and you also have to have friends with boundaries because they were straight up like, look, I love you and I'm here, hands down. But if you want support with this in particular, I can't help you with that. And I was like, you are right, and I don't want to put any pressure on them, any additional pressure. So we will still hang out and do what we do. Actually, they were over, I want to say about a month ago for brunch. It was like a brunch that I threw for my mom because she sells like Mary Kay products, and so I made waffles and well, I planned the menu. My sisters made waffles and eggs, and I just like rinsed the strawberries and the blueberries and set up the decor and all of that good stuff. But I didn't cook. I can't lie. Nobody wanted me on my feet. Um, See, family and friends. Nobody wanted me on. I couldn't even carry the beverages. They were like, "Oh, I got that," and I'm like, Thank you. All right. So next, friends provide balance. So, like I said, um, anytime you just like rely on family to hang out with and things of that nature, there can be some barriers. Why is that? Because your family, they love you, they care about you, and sometimes they might tell your business to an aunt or an uncle or whoever, and it's just in their nature to do so because that is family. So it's like, oh yeah, it's family. Like, why not? And I'll be like, yeah, that's family, but I didn't tell her what I told you. So why does she know that? So I realized like I can't tell my family everything, but there are things that your friends can keep in confidence that your mother or your father or whoever in your life may not think about, right? And so you just have to be mindful of that and understand too, your family loves you so much. Like your friends love you too, but your family loves you so much that they will literally tell you to do things that they feel more comfortable with because it's like, oh no, that's dangerous. And if you do that, like my anxiety is going to go through the roof. I'm going to freak out. And I know this firsthand from both sides because I am a older sister and I had to learn how to fall back and allow my younger sisters to make their own mistakes. Because I'm the big sis that will literally, I'll be like, you can live through me. Like, learn from my mistakes, don't do this, don't do that. And it's like they cannot learn that way. They can't grow. And ultimately, I was smothering them. So, but if they have their friends to lean on, if they have other supports outside of family, they don't feel like they have to come to Big Sis all the time. And they know what not to tell me because I am a little off my rocker. So if you tell me something about somebody that did something to you or said something wrong, I'm ready to retaliate because you're my sister. Whereas your friend, I'm not gonna lie, with my friends, I think twice. Like, okay, well, tell me more. You get what I'm saying? Like family, you be like, with the friends, it's like, okay, tell me more about what happened. I want to hear the whole side of the story. Um, family, I don't always care. Like, I don't care what you did. You can tell me, but I don't care what you did. They were wrong, you know? So that is my advice on friendship. I hope that this helped because this, like, seriously hit so close to home for me. Like, I distinctly remember a time where I could not have healthy friendships. And that's why on my platform, I don't just focus on men only. I focus on interpersonal relationships. So that can be your friends, that can be your man, that can be your parents. Because when you have confidence in all of those areas, meeting those business executives, meeting people who sign checks, meeting people who you deem as important or big, it's not daunting. I can be in a room with anyone and feel comfortable being in my own skin, being myself, because I know how to interact with people now. Whereas before, I didn't have that same confidence. I went into every room kind of timid and with a chip on my shoulder and feeling like I had something to prove, and I didn't. What I really wanted to do was to prove something to myself. And once I started working on myself, I proved a lot to myself. All right. So, thank you, ladies, for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And Sophia said, can you do a video on how to be a healthy challenge during early dating stages? And this is so good because I promise you, if I didn't do this video, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Specifically, like when you go out to like a bar or a party and you're like standing there with one guy the whole time, like, I have some advice on that. So, absolutely, Sophia, I can do a video on how to be a healthy challenge. And that is good. And then you threw in the word healthy. Like, what? Yes, I know how to do that. I know how to be a healthy challenge. And I know how to be a toxic challenge. I can do them both. I can do both. All right. So You ladies are awesome. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. The contents are different, they just are. And I do different content because if you're following me on multiple platforms, you don't want to hear the same things. It just makes sense, right? So, have a great day. It is an amazing Sunday. Again, it is 6:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the Carolinas. And as usual, I'm up super early doing content and brainstorming. And this is just like my most productive hours, I feel like. Um, but there is more to come. So I will see you in my next video. It might be that one, but we'll see. Peace.